Good day. My name is Emre Toker. I'm the Managing Director of the Skandalaris Center at Washington University, and I'd like to take a few minutes of your time today to tell you about the Skandalaris Center. Now, the very first question we recommend our students ask is why. So I'd like to start off by asking the question, why do we need a University Entrepreneurship Center at Washington University? Well, there may be three possible answers. One answer is what I call the small y, and that is the example set by Stanford University, whose alumni have created 18,000 firms, employing 3 million people and generating $1.27 trillion in revenue. Most of the alumni stay within the Stanford area. And for those who may say this is all about making money, by the way, Stanford alumni have also created 30,000 nonprofit organizations. But still, in my mind, this is still the small y. The big Y is my firm belief that entrepreneurship is the best way for students to understand who they are in a multidimensional sense, what their limits are, and whether they can reach their limits in many dimensions. Most of our students, as I'm sure you know, are very intelligent analytically, but we all know that to win at entrepreneurship requires different types of intelligences: creative intelligence, practical intelligence, social intelligence. And since no one person can excel at all these intelligences, one needs the leadership qualities to bring together a cohesive team. Putting together all these intelligences together, and entrepreneurship gives our students that particular opportunity. And this is the big why we should have an entrepreneurship center at Washington University. There is another why, a specific why, and that involves, can we build an entrepreneurship center at Washington University that is uniquely and defensively differentiated from what is a very undifferentiated market of university-based entrepreneurship centers? There's a few outliers, and then everybody else is doing pretty much the same thing. How can we not try to out Stanford, and in the language of entrepreneurship, find ourselves a blue ocean that we can uniquely and defensively claim and defend? So these are the why questions. Now let's move on to the how question. So actually what we're doing is relatively straightforward. We have 3 clients and 3 missions organized in a funnel format, as you can see here, and we'll take a deep dive into this funnel operation in a minute. So our 3 clients, prioritized in terms of importance to us, are Washington University students, number 1, Washington University faculty and staff, number 2, and the local and global community in general, number 3. And the 3 missions that we have, organized in a funnel form, is interdisciplinary engagement, practical training in entrepreneurship and in innovation, and launch. And we'll take a deep dive into each of these categories in the next few minutes. So let's start with interdisciplinary engagement. What we have seen is that the usual suspects, business students, engineering students, medical students, they find their way to the Skandalaris Center very easily. But the typical anthropology student or the music student or the dance student sometimes is a little bit nervous about coming to the Skandalaris Center that is perceived as a place where business is conducted and where financial projections are the most important thing, and so on. And because our mission is to create interdisciplinary engagement, we're branding the center as a place where creative minds connect. So one part of our funnel is creativity, then innovation, then entrepreneurship. So what enables us to do this is a co-working space where students come in from all disciplines in a very casual environment. It's their space. We're just the support personnel in the periphery to answer any questions that they may have, and they work on their projects as they wish. What we have also observed is that engagement top-down is very difficult for us. Engagement through student clubs is far more efficient. Peer credibility among students is very critical. So if we wish to pull students into the funnel, entrepreneurial funnel, it has proven to us that it's much more capital efficient for us to work with student clubs, of which we have many on campus. Sling Health, Washington University Technology Entrepreneurs, Bear Studios, Wise Thoughts, many of them with slightly different missions. We support them both financially as well as from all other resources point of view, so that they can engage with the students to pull them in to our funnel. Other tricks that we play, I'll tell you through an example. So Boeing Corporation has many tens of thousands of platform technology patents, but a specific area of interest, namely aerospace and defense. So Boeing Corporation hired a management consulting firm and asked them to identify those patents in the Boeing portfolio with the highest commercialization potential outside of aerospace and defense, and then made these patents available to our students in a competition to build a commercialization feasibility plan around. In order to ensure interdisciplinary engagement, we as the Skandalaris Center impose some additional restrictions. The first one was, in order to compete in this challenge, each team must have representation from at least 3 colleges of the university. Otherwise, you cannot compete. And then the second trick that we played is, this will be a 2-phased competition. In the first phase, whichever team can best describe the technology using rich media, video, animation, whatever means, such that grandma can understand the technology without degrading its quality, technical content quality, wins the first phase. So this way, we were forcing students to find themselves team members from other disciplines. For example, the engineering major may understand the technical jargon, but may not be very good at writing English. So goes and recruits an English major, and they say, we can't do any graphics, so let's recruit a fine art major, etc., etc. And in this particular competition, about 150 students participated, representing all 7 colleges of the university. It was a tremendous success, both from Boeing's point of view, from WashU's point of view, from our students' point of view. So this is an example of what we do to enhance interdisciplinary engagement at Washington University. But we are still far from perfect. Here are the usual suspects. And our penetration into the law school, School of Fine Arts, and School of Social Work still needs a lot of improvement. And we have many programs designed in a targeted way to get students from these 3 schools engaged with the Skandalaris Center. Now let's get to the next mission, which is practical training. So we are building the competencies at the Skandalaris Center that are differentiated from the competencies of the business school. Whereas the business school teaches the fundamentals of entrepreneurship, we provide on-demand, venture-specific, instant, practical guidance to students that come to the Skandalaris Center, either with an idea or seeking an idea. So that is the part of our practical training that we are building competencies around. How do we do this? My students used to call me mentor and tormentor. So our biggest challenge here is how to represent or describe to the students the realities of the real world in terms of entrepreneurship, the enormous difficulties and challenges associated with entrepreneurship, without breaking their enthusiasm and their energy and their willingness to try new things. That is the fine line that we walk in the mentor and tormentor model. So we view our job as dealing with horses and jockeys. Horses are the ideas, jockeys are the entrepreneurs who will ride those horses. and our clients are certain type of jockeys and certain type of ideas. What I mean by that is undergraduates, typically, there are always outliers, who have not yet had enough life experiences, maybe on somewhat weaker horses, but the jockeys are fantastic, extremely enthusiastic, willing to learn. There, our job is to train the jockey, even if the horse they're on is not so strong, such that 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, when they come across a thoroughbred, they can jump on that horse and use the tools we have given them to ride that horse to the finish line. Our other set of clients, faculty, generally speaking, the horses are great. Lots of patents, lots of federal grant funding that went into building up the horse. But the jockey may say, typically, I'm a scientist, not a business person, please leave me alone. And those are the challenges that we face, coupling the right horse with the right jockey, and we have certain programs to achieve that goal. The driving force behind our practical training is something that we call evidence-based entrepreneurship. I don't have enough time to get into the details of what exactly we mean by evidence-based entrepreneurship, but we take the term from evidence-based medicine, moving from anecdotal to a scientific, rigorous approach to entrepreneurship worthy of Washington University, while still realizing that 95% of entrepreneurship is about human psychology and 5% is about all the technical and analytical aspects. So with respect to both of those sides, psychology as well as the analytical, we deploy evidence-based entrepreneurship principles in our practical training. Evidence-based entrepreneurship allows us to take entrepreneurship seriously. We offer entrepreneurship citations to our PhD students. These are difficult to get on purpose because we do not want an inflation of entrepreneurship citations. We have initiated a Master of Science in Clinical Investigation at the medical school that involves an entrepreneurial thesis, again, very rigorous. And we're responding to the national demand for entrepreneurial and innovative thinking. This is a solicitation from the National Institutes of Health. This is not our submission. In other words, the title is not our title. It's from the NIH. Educational Program to Improve Innovation and Entrepreneurial Thinking in Biomedical Researchers. This is what the nation wants from its universities, and we're responding to it in a rigorous manner. Now, two more things about the training part. One, we have a lot of assistance from our graduates. We have a database of approximately 300 volunteer mentors, domain experts and otherwise, whom we tap into to help us with practical training, as well as local entities that have the type of specialized expertise that they may have to help specific ventures. And then this arrow points to the fact that not all students, not all faculty members are going to launch a startup. Many of them are going to go into the corporate world, and we admit that. However, what we wish to do is, even when they go into the corporate world, they go with the tools that we have provided them in the training that we supplied. One last thing, these boxes represent the magnet or the carrots. These are the business plan competitions through which we give some awards to the winners. But we really are using these to pull people in because our job is to train, not so much to run business plan competitions. So we come to the last part, the launch part. And as I mentioned, the launching is enabled by the various business plan competitions that we offer. Social entrepreneurship, commercial entrepreneurship, industry-sponsored, high-risk, high-reward competitions, a business plan competition for faculty members with invention disclosures, so a wide variety of business plan competitions through which our students, faculty, staff, local community can get the training that is necessary. And this is an indication of a proxy for the level of interest in entrepreneurship increasing at a rapid rate, both nationally as well as in St. Louis and at Washington University. Once people come out of our funnel of the business plan competitions and all the training, at the tail end sits a Washington University seed fund that invests exclusively in Washington University affiliated startups, whether it's students or faculty. So this is the funnel that I indicated. People come in, go through the business plan competitions. This is the seed fund. It's a combination of private investors who have put some skin in the game and Washington University endowment, which also put some skin in the game. However, the unique thing is that a supermajority of the private investors must vote yes, 70% or more, before the endowment kicks in money to that particular investment. We're now making our very first investment through this channel. This box represents student involvement with the fund, advising the fund with respect to both due diligence as well as portfolio monitoring. And again, I don't have time to get into the more specific details of the fund, but this is a means for us to enable and enhance more launches out of Washington University. So some metrics since 2012, about 120 projects have gone through WashU, launching 55 ventures, 43 of them still operating, 29 patents filed, and $5.5 million raised, and these numbers are all increasing on an annual basis and accelerating at the same time. I will conclude by the question that I asked, which was, how can we uniquely and defensively differentiate Washington University entrepreneurship from all other university-based entrepreneurship centers? And that, in my mind, is to propose a national database of startup and founder KPIs designed to assist both founders and early-stage angel investors in doing more rigorous risk-reward assessment of the investment opportunities that are coming out of the entire nation at an accelerating rate. I am happy to provide you with more information. Thank you for watching this presentation.